John Wesley Hardin once killed a guy for snoring too loud. But surprisingly, that's not what he's famous for. What he's famous for is his baby back ribs. Welcome back to Instant Pot Captain. Let's get started. But before we do, I want to thank our sponsor, Michelob. Michelob, the working man's beer, the go-to beer of the Instant Pot Captain, and all of that. Yeah. Thank you, Michelob. I couldn't get John Wesley's favorite whiskey to chip in, so we covered their label. Anyway, so by the age of 15, John Wesley Hardin killed his first man, and by the age of 22, he'd already ended up in prison. Nope, that's not for you, bud. Now, John Wesley says that he has actually killed 42 men, but historical records can actually prove that he killed 29. In any case, what happened was John Wesley ended up in prison in Texas, and he got in there, and immediately he started whooping some ass inside of the prison, and the warden took notice of him and thought, well, look at this guy. This is a guy that we could probably get to do my taxes. And so, the warden kind of took him under his wings, and well, it didn't exactly work out like that. I mean, John Wesley wasn't smart enough to do the taxes or whatnot. And he actually told the warden, well, if you need me, what I can do for you is cook. And I would love to become a cook, a chef, and whatnot. And so he did that. He started cooking food for the warden and some of the, guards and some of the trustees and whatnot. And the warden started sneaking in, things for him to cook, because it started with him cooking in his own cell room. He was making things out of the commissary, whatever, meatloaf and, noodles and whatnot, and things out of the candy and whatnot and whatever. And, you ain't going to go too far with that. And, so the warden started, the warden's favorite thing was ribs, and pork ribs in particular. And John Wesley says, I could make you the best pork ribs ever, and I've got a special recipe for the sauce. And the warden ate it up, and so next thing you know, the warden's always bringing in ribs for John Wesley to cook in the kitchen and whatnot. And that's how it went. And while John Wesley was in there, he was scheduled to do 24 years in prison, but he was actually let go early because of good behavior and whatnot. And but the 12 years that he was in prison, he spent his time, and he went to school to become a chef. He learned the culinary arts in prison, if you will. And when he got out, he became a very rich man, and I'm going to tell you how in just a second. Now, yes, I know what you're saying, Captain. It's baby back ribs. It's whatever. What's so special about John Wesley's and whatnot? Well, John Wesley had the very best sauce in the world, and I have it right here. That's right, open pit sauce. See, what happened was, this was John Wesley's recipe, and when he got out, he started cooking it for everybody, and all the cowboys in the United States would go to the spots where they knew that John Wesley's barbecue sauce was on the meat and whatnot and whatever. It became worldly famous. And when John Wesley was passed away in 1889, whatever, he would have gotten in a gunfight. His final gunfight, somebody else shot him, and he finally lost a gunfight after 41, 42 kills and whatnot. His siblings sold his recipe to a guy, and the guy took John Wesley's recipe and started the Open Pit Company in Detroit, Michigan. And this became very successful. But most of you Americans don't know about open pit because you can't get it anywhere but Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana. It's not widely known. So, but this is still the recipe to have, when you're going to have baby back ribs. And you would just basically smother it on this and take your little paintbrush. As you can see, the captain doesn't have a paintbrush because, I just don't. And we'll just pour it on and whatnot, whatever. John Wesley's cooking skills made him a favorite among the inmates and whatnot. And you know, he probably had a lot of boyfriends, who knows, whatever. But nobody ever messed with him in prison, pretty much. So basically, we're going to take our ribs. Oh, damn it! The Instant Pot captain forgot the garlic powder. You always got to have garlic salt on these things, you know, because of the scurvy. We'll go ahead and sprinkle a little bit on top of the open pit. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. Just a little bit now. We don't want to kill the flavor of the open pit. And then you're just gonna grab your little hunk of ribs. We're gonna put 2 racks in. I only need 1, but my dogs are probably hungry too. And then we'll just go ahead and stack this one right on top of it. And then we're going to pour in a cup of water. Yep. And then we'll put a few red potatoes in there, because John Wesley was basically a very hardcore meat and potatoes kind of guy. So he would throw a few of those in there with no extras, no frills, just meat and potatoes. And then he would throw an onion in there just to give the potatoes some flavor. Just like that. Yes, sir. All right. Now this is another easy one. I mean, anybody can make this. Make sure your pot is set to not steam. All right. And then we're going to hit pressure cook. And we're going to go to, let's see. We'll go to beef. And then we're going to turn this thing up to 55 minutes. Going to give it a little bit of extra. The 55 minutes, we'll give that thing, and then we're going to hit the button again, and then we'll hit start. And this is really going to make these ribs, I mean, literally you're going to pick the bone up, and the weight of the meat is just basically going to let it fall off of the damn thing. So it's going to be pretty damn fantastic. But remember, you have to find open pit if you want John Wesley Hardin's baby back ribs. And it's not hard to do. You can still get it on Amazon, or you can drive to Detroit. And that's about it. We'll make another video with the finished product in about, you know, an hour and a half or so. Remember, this thing's got to build up to temperature. And then, and then the other thing is, once the thing hits temperature, you're going to wait 5 minutes before you crack the steam and let the pressure out and let everything go. And then you can take your stuff out of there. And it's going to be fantastic, I promise you. Thank you for watching this Pot Captain again. Short coming up later. And that's that.